Okay, I have another Yamaha AV receiver in here. This one is an HTR 5950. And I'm not sure if it's from the same customer or not, but it came in with the complaint of no subwoofer. So I have another receiver connected to it, to the auxiliary input. I do have an antenna connected to it, so I can turn up the main speaker volume. And that does work. But listen to the subwoofer output. Now this is with the volume turned all the way down. That's all I get, just a hum. That's telling me, once again, we got a problem in the ground portion of the subwoofer. So let's do a couple of quick checks on the back of the receiver and see, do we have ground integrity on the subwoofer output jack? So that's the first thing I'm going to check with an ohm meter, just to see if we have ground there. This is the subwoofer output jack right here. And I've got my meter on ohms. So if I short the leads, I should get like half an ohm. Yep, exactly half an ohm. So if I go ahead and I just check between the grounds, and I get a little bit of oxidation there, but it's close to zero. Half an ohm, half an ohm. Go over here, this is the DVD input. Half an ohm, but watch what happens when I check the subwoofer output. Absolutely open. I'm not getting anything even on the meg ohm scale. This is how sensitive this is. If I just touch my fingers to this, look at that. 5 million ohms, 4.5. I think there's something with the wiring integrity here. And once again, I can't remember if this is the same customer that had, I think it was another Yamaha, it might have been an Onkyo, but I think he had a ground fault with a subwoofer and it was putting out voltage on the ground, and he ended up burning up a couple traces on the circuit board. So let's go ahead and get the board out of this one. This one looks like much easier to remove than the other one was, and we'll take a look at the bottom of the board and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've got all my tie straps removed, and I just need to get under here and unplug my ribbon cables. I've already removed all the screws from all the jacks on the back of this unit. So we'll just get these unplugged real quick here. And get those up and out of the way. One more ribbon cable back here. Now theoretically the board should just lift up and out of here with no problem. And let's just go ahead and take a quick look around that jack, see if anything stands out. Okay, so here's the jack, and everything looks really good. I don't see any burnt traces back here. I see a 2.2 ohm resistor right there. I measured that. It's perfectly fine. It looks like on the lower center of your screen there's a 221 resistor. That is a 220 ohm resistor. That's probably the coupling resistor to the output hot terminal of the subwoofer jack. It's perfectly fine. All the grounds look good. Don't really see any broken connections or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and follow this ground path back down here, and let's see where it actually ends up going. So it comes all the way down here. Then it goes across this jumper pad right there. And then, oh, what do I see right there? A missing trace. It's been burned off. And another missing trace. It has been burned off as well. Go across this long jumper over here. And look at that. A burned up trace there. And I wonder what that transistor does. I wonder if it's been compromised. I'll have to test it right there. And another burn up trace. And then it looks like the small jumper J2000 that runs vertical on your screen right there. It looks like that lands on the main ground pad because the ground integrity from there is subwoofer earth, SWE. It's perfectly fine. So looks like we just need to go ahead and test that transistor. Is it, I can't quite tell what it is. Maybe Q2009. I'll have to pull up a schematic if I can find one. Definitely arced. Right there, absolutely terrible. Once again, across that long jumper, that's an open. That's an open. So I think we can get by with just going ahead and jumpering these things and measuring that one transistor in the center of the screen and see if it's been compromised. I have such a huge meter, And so it's a tiny little transistor that I'm going to go ahead and try to check it real quickly. So I'm going to go base to collector, and I see a good junction. Base to emitter, I see another good junction. Let's reverse the leads and see what we get in the reverse direction. Base to collector, open. Base to emitter, open. Now importantly, let's check collector to emitter, because that could be actually shorted. And we'll reverse the leads. No, it looks absolutely perfect. Not shorted collector emitter. That's what I'm concerned about. And I see both junctions from base to collector and base to emitter with no reverse junction. So that transistor is actually good. I think this guy might be lucky. I think I can just run some jumpers on this board and it's going to be up and running once again. So before I do any jumpers, I want to go ahead and get my little stainless steel toothbrush, and I'm just going to scrub the circuit board, and it's going to remove any of the conformal coating that's been damaged and hopefully the copper trace that's been damaged at the same time. I still see some copper trace stuck on the board there. We'll probably have to go ahead and just scrape it off with a knife possibly. Okay, got the majority of it off right there. So there's still some straggling copper right here. I just want to go ahead and make sure it doesn't short out against anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to slice it off the board right there. There it is. Out of here. And then this one is definitely lifted up. So this screwdriver has a really super sharp tip on it. So I'm just going to try to score it. And just remove it, just as simple as that. Same thing there. All right, so that all looks really good. Let's see if this one's going to lift or if it's still attached. No, it actually looks really good, but I still think I'm going to try to score it and just pull off the excess right there. Same thing here. So there we go. So as far as I'm concerned, these really don't do anything because there's no other components connected to these traces. The only one component I can see that is connected right here is the collector of this transistor, and it might be a muting transistor. So I think I can run a jumper from this point to the collector and then just run a jumper from this point right here all the way over to this pad right there, and I think we'll be good. So let's get that done real quick. Okay, so I have a jumper wire run from the collector of the transistor to the ground pad. I tried to follow the existing path. I think I did a fair job on that. And then I did add a lead from the other side of the jumper. Over here, I've secured it with a drop of glue. And another drop of glue right there. And then it runs to the starting point of the ground path. And then that is this large ground path here. And it goes all the way up and grounds the subwoofer output jack. So now let's do an integrity test with the ohm meter between the ground of the subwoofer jack and the other grounds of the other jacks. Okay, so I have my meter in the ohm range. I've forced it into the 600 ohm range. And so if I just go between a couple of pins here, I see 0.7 ohms. Go to the subwoofer jack, and I see about 0.9 ohms. I think I'm not making a totally great connection. There we go, 0.5 ohms. So before I throw it in, I want to go ahead and check. There's a couple of resistors between the base and the emitter of this transistor. One's a 470 ohm resistor. I see 462 ohms, that's perfectly fine. And there's another one that's a 10K resistor. And I see 9.8K, so that's totally fine. So we didn't do any damage to the input or the output of that transistor. We just burned up the ground trace. The transistor seems to be perfectly fine. Once again, I've tested both junctions. They're great. Now I can go ahead and put it back in the unit. We'll do a final test. Okay, so I've got it hooked back up. Got a station tuned in. So there is the audio from the front speakers, but let me shut the front speakers off and just crank up the volume here. And there is a subwoofer output with no hum. Back again, front speakers on. Well, that was a quick little video. I appreciate you making it to the end of that video. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below. I try to read the comments and respond when I have time. While you're down there, go ahead and click that subscribe button and like this video. It really does help my channel grow. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at NorCal715. You can email me, norcal715videos@gmail.com. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Once again, everybody, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I really do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. Once again, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.